Imagine trying to build an electric vehicle with 2,000 fewer moving parts than a standard gas car, cutting battery costs by 20%, and bringing it to market in under 2 years. Oh, and doing all of that for less than the price of a used Honda Civic.
It sounds kind of impossible, honestly.
But welcome to today's custom deep dive, where our mission is to unpack this stack of sources you sent us, technical specs, press releases, auto reviews, and see how Renault is attempting exactly that with the rebooted 2025-2026 Twingo E-Tech.
Yeah, and it's a super compelling case study because, most major manufacturers are just actively fleeing the A segment right now.
Just for context, the A segment is the industry term for those ultra-compact city cars.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The profit margins there are historically razor thin. It is really hard to make money. Yet Renault is trying to revitalize this whole space with an EV that starts under 20,000 euros.
And according to the design notes you provided, they're leaning heavily into nostalgia to pull people in. The specs detail these 1992-style frog headlights.
Oh yeah, the classic Twingo look.
Yeah. Plus 3D printed honeycomb bumpers and this wild floating cylindrical dashboard. Visually, the sources describe it a bit like taking a classic, chunky Game Boy, but outfitting it with a modern HD screen and brand new internals.
That is such a good analogy. But that retro shell is hiding some intense cost engineering. Because to hit that 19,490 euro base price,
which is roughly 18,000 pounds, right?
Yeah, about that. To hit that, they had to completely restructure the battery. They opted for an LFP, or lithium iron phosphate battery, and used a cell-to-pack architecture.
Okay, let's break down how that actually works for a second. Usually battery cells are bundled into protective modules, and then those modules get stacked into the car's pack.
Right, which takes up a lot of room.
Exactly. So going cell-to-pack, it's like packing a suitcase. Instead of putting your clothes into bulky packing cubes first, you just meticulously fold everything directly into the suitcase itself. You eliminate all the dead weight of the cubes.
Yes, exactly. Skipping those internal modules saves a massive amount of physical space, and it really reduces manufacturing complexity. Combined with using abundant materials, like iron and phosphate, instead of expensive metals like cobalt, they cut battery costs by about 20%.
Okay, I get the cost savings, but looking at these specs, the battery is only 27.5 kilowatt hours.
It is definitely on the smaller side.
Yeah, that translates to a real-world range of roughly 185 kilometers. Even for an urban driver, that feels dangerously low. Like, if you have to take a detour or run the heater in stop-and-go winter traffic, aren't you going to end up stranded?
It's a highly practical concern. And the auto reviews you shared point this out too. But Renault's counter-argument is that this car is deliberately engineered for a very specific environment.
So it's not a highway cruiser?
No, not at all. The engineering focuses on mechanical simplicity for city living. They are pitching it as a legacy car meant to last 20 years. An electric motor only has about 20 moving parts.
Wow, compared to what, like 2,000 in a combustion engine?
Exactly. Less complexity means fewer things break over 2 decades of city driving.
Sure. But even an inner-city survivor needs to charge. If you're stuck with a tiny battery, you're plugging in constantly.
True, which is why the sources highlight a specific 500 euro upgrade called the Advanced Charge Pack. This is actually crucial.
What does that do?
It adds 50 kilowatt DC fast charging. So that allows the car to go from a 10% charge to 80% in just 30 minutes.
Oh, okay. And looking at the technical sheets, that same 500 euro pack unlocks bidirectional charging, specifically V2L and V2G.
Yeah, those are game changers.
Right, so that's vehicle to load, meaning you can plug a standard appliance directly into the car, and vehicle to grid, meaning the car can actually send stored energy back into your home's electrical grid during peak pricing hours. That could seriously lower your utility bills.
It completely shifts the vehicle from just being transportation to acting as like a rolling home battery.
But wait, you can't add features like bidirectional charging on a 19,000 euro budget without slashing costs elsewhere.
You really can't. And the press releases show Renault didn't just slash battery costs. They completely altered the timeline of how a car is made. They went from concept to production in just 100 weeks.
Which is practically unheard of. Right?
Oh, totally. Traditionally, developing a new car from sketch to street takes 4 to 5 years. Renault cut that in half by partnering with a Chinese R&D center called ACDC.
Ah, so they didn't invent a new EV platform from scratch to figure this out.
Precisely.
Oh.
They tapped into an existing rapid prototyping ecosystem already perfected in China. It allowed them to bypass years of expensive trial and error, But strategically, while the R&D leveraged Chinese feed, the actual manufacturing is happening at Renault's plant in Slovenia.
So they kept the production base strictly European. It's
Exactly.
such a fascinating strategy, blending rapid overseas development with local manufacturing just to make the math work on a budget EV.
Yeah.
Well, we want to explicitly thank you for providing these sources and spending your time with us on this custom deep dive
Oh,
today.
well, sure. It was a highly revealing stack of information to sift through.
Yeah, it really was. So as we wrap up, we'll leave you with this final thought to mull over. Now that Renault has proven a legacy automaker can rapidly develop a stylish, affordable, and highly efficient EV in just 100 weeks, what other beloved 90s automotive icons are ripe for a high-tech electric resurrection?